Hey, let's get down to the real business of the show. So, Philip, you're on now. Now that we've finished with KT Price, let's talk about the ongoing massive story, the business of Rachel Reeves crying in the House of Commons yesterday. And it cannot be just brushed aside, oh, she's upset. In a way, the reason for her tears, and we all have more than suspicions, and we know why she was crying. It's not a personal issue. It's because her job, her career is falling apart at the seams. But the point is, the reason in the end is not that relevant to it's the fact that she's crying. Now, the economy, Philip, was already in trouble, right? She's on resignation watch because Tuesday night, the welfare bill fiasco. Her job, her mandate was to save £5 billion on a grotesque £300 billion general welfare bill. She needed to save £5 billion. In fact, many people say we actually need to save about £20 billion. But Liz Kendall whittled it down to £5 billion, which was supposed to be acceptable to the left-wing backbenchers, but of course wasn't. So Starmer had to keep capitulating until, to get that bill through, he had to turn the, by an hour before, or a couple of hours before, the savings were down to less than £1 billion. And then his final capitulation, which we understand he didn't even tell Rachel or Liz Kendall about, turned the alleged savings into an increase of £100 million. Now, what I think, I'm pretty certain, what she's crying about, old Rachel Reeves, is she knows now the only way to save this country from bankruptcy will be to renege on her solemn promise not to raise taxes. She's going to have to raise taxes. We understand, and you can take it to the bank that it's almost certainly true because Keir Starmer has denied it, that they had a stand-up row just before Prime Minister's question time. But I think what's annoying me at the moment, and a lot of other people, is the way, once again, this awful party, these children, the Labour Party, the Labour government, are gaslighting the nation, saying, no, it's a personal matter. It's just not true, is it?
It's not true, and it's the stupidest strategy they could possibly employ, because the last thing we want is a Chancellor of the Exchequer crying in the Houses of Parliament because she's obsessed with her personal life. You know, nobody wants that.
Except it's not a personal.
It's not a personal life, but it's the strategy. It's just
that could be even worse. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's just they are so silly. But this is, she fashions herself. You know, she calls herself the Iron Chancellor. She's anything.
Not anymore.
She's anything but. You know, she is promoted way beyond her ability. I get the impression she's there because she's a woman, because of this, because of that. It's typical left-wing stuff. It's all about identity. It isn't about ability, and this is where it gets us. If you look at all of the institutions, all the people that run it are there because they're black, they're LGBTQI+, they identify as a horse on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you know, that kind of thing. And all of our institutions...
Wouldn't it be nice if they brought in ability as a reason for getting the job?
This is it, you see, because all of our institutions are failing, and we see it here. Now, you know you're in a mess when the Chancellor is crying. You know, we are in catastrophe. And they're talking, the figures they're talking about, Kev, they're talking about £5 billion, which they're not going to save now, and as you say, it's
going up by 100 million.
100 million up. But we're talking about, you know, a bill for welfare of somewhere in the region of £200 billion. So the £5 billion is peanuts in the broader scale of things, and now it's nothing at all minus.
Exactly. If you actually go back historically, Liz Kendall, the Work and Pensions Secretary, her mission was to try to make at least £10 billion worth of savings, more if possible. But the noises off from the Labour Party made it clear to her that she's going to have to water down the potential savings as much as possible. That came down to £5 billion, but then, of course, the lefties on the backbench, we're not in the Labour Party to cut benefits, to cut welfare. So she realised that it was going to have to come down. Starmer realised it was going to have to come down. He turned it. He kept saying it's not a vote of confidence, but but because he kept saying that, it became a vote of confidence.
Yeah.
He was obsessed with getting it through as a sign of his authority. Well, he got it through, but he only got it through by capitulating beyond belief, so that there were no savings. In fact, there's an increase, and of course that has not confirmed his authority. Has confirmed quite the reverse.
Yeah.
I've got to just to say one thing. I had Isabel Oakeshott on the show last night, and how she was 10 years, I think, in the lobby. She knows how the lobby works. And this is to go back to why was she crying? It was a personal issue. She said, look, if it was Rachel's Uncle Harry died of cancer the night before, or a dog died, or something like that, what would the way the system works is the party whip, the chief whip, or someone senior in the party would approach all the political editors and say, listen, this is the story. She doesn't want it out there, but you know, she's absolutely distraught because Uncle Harry died last night, and accordingly the lobby journalists would have given her a hard time. That did not happen. So I think you can take it as read. She doesn't have a personal issue. This is because she's tanked the economy and Starmer has made her life impossible. Keir Starmer, he steered clear of talk when he came to this building just down the corridor here this morning. Can't think why. I mean, what's the matter with him? He doesn't like Mike Graham, he doesn't like Julia Holly-Brewer, or even me. What's wrong with him? He didn't even go to Times Radio. He went to Virgin Radio to talk to my excellent colleague, Chris Evans, and here he is parroting that ridiculous excuse that these Labour idiots expect us to believe.
Well, I'm not going to speak for Rachel. I've obviously talked to her, and it was a personal matter. And given it's a personal matter, it's not for me then to breach Rachel's privacy on it. It's got actually, contrary to what people may think, nothing to do with politics, nothing to do with the ups and downs of this week, or her relationship with anybody in the Labour Party. Purely personal. But what I would say is, she is an excellent Chancellor. She will be Chancellor for a very long time to come, into the next election and beyond it. And she and I are absolutely committed to our fiscal rules and the economic stability that is so important for this country.
Translation of that, she's gone in a month. Yes, he went on to... by the way, they've war-gamed that, haven't they? How can we get out of this Rachel crime? Right, let's say it's a personal matter. Yes, that'll work. That'll work. Everybody go out and say it was a personal matter. Old Rachel herself is out today. We're going to have a look at her in a minute. She's got so much makeup on, covering up the tracks of her tears. She looks like Coco the Clown. But Starmer, his famous emotional empathy, firing on all cylinders, while she's sobbing behind him. He didn't notice. At least he says he didn't. Here's Keir, two-tier Keir, talking to Chris again.
I actually personally didn't even appreciate it was happening in the chamber, because I came in and I've got questions being fired at me and PMQs, and so I'm sort of constantly up at the dispatch box and down. But I think we just need to be clear. It's a personal matter, and I'm not going to breach Rachel's privacy by going into what's a personal matter for her.
Personal matter. It's a personal matter. It's a personal matter. Did I say it's a personal matter? You're lying, Starmer, and everybody knows it. And finally, for our little films, this is Coco the Clown. Sorry, Rachel Reeves earlier today, explaining why she was sobbing like a kid in the Commons yesterday.
Well, clearly I was upset yesterday, and everyone could see that. It was a personal issue, and I'm not going to go into the details of that. But my job as Chancellor at 12 o'clock on a Wednesday is to be at PMQs next to the Prime Minister, supporting the government, and that's what I try to do. I guess the thing that maybe is a bit different between my job and many of your viewers is that when I'm having a tough day, it's on the telly, and most people don't have to deal with that.
Yeah, well, which do you prefer, by the way, Philip? A personal matter or personal issue?
Well,
it's a tough one, isn't it?
It's a tough one because they're so incredibly different. One of the things that I look at that and I notice, so she's at one end of the spectrum, she's devastated and in tears and barely holding it together. Then the next day she's got this ridiculous kind of skull-like smile plastered to her face, and I just get the word unstable about everything. They're personally unstable, the economy's unstable, the government's unstable, the country's unstable. All of that stuff just comes together with this clown show of a government.
That's exactly what it is.
And it just feels as though, like I say, we're at the back end of catastrophe here. And watching Angela Rayner...
That's exactly what I want to talk about now. Can I just talk to my production team for a second? Is everybody paying attention? Good. Can we get some pictures of Angela Rayner just a few feet away from sobbing Rachel Reeves, because we're going to see a kind of marked difference in their expressions. No, she looked like the cat that got the cream. She is loving this, old Ange.
Well, there's obviously a kind of opportunity here for her, but if you think that it's bad now under Keir Starmer, then, you know, we're looking at someone who can't string a sentence together. We're looking at someone...
We're looking at someone very left-wing.
We're looking at someone incredibly left-wing who is aligned to all of these all of these values that have sunk the country, essentially, you know. But we are looking at someone who's been promoted because of who and what she is, and it doesn't have anything to do with her ability. So it's always the same stuff. This is university politics. This is left-wing adolescence, and this is the reason we're in the terrible situation we are in.
And by the way, she's the one who got Starmer out of a hole because she actually negotiated this final deal, the final climb down, which, just to reiterate, took the initial target of saving $5 billion to increasing our bill by 100 million, and that was the only way that those 130 left-wing Labour rebels would vote that through. Now, the net result of this, now Angela is on manoeuvres big time. That her team think that Keir's gone within a year and she will take over, and that really doesn't bear thinking about, does it?
Well, I mean, I can't help but think about quality. And in my lifetime, people like Margaret Thatcher, you know, people like Michael Foot, I completely disagree with his politics, but Michael Foot was eloquent and a great intellect. Let's be clear here, we are talking about Angela Rayner, for God's sake, and we are thinking about that this woman might one day be Prime Minister.
Honestly, it's staggering. You know, this isn't about stereotyping a working class woman who didn't go to university. There's nothing wrong with that. And a lot of working class women who didn't go to university are as sharp as a pin. Angela Rayner isn't one of them. That's the problem.
Well, she's from around where I'm from. She's from Greater Manchester, so she's from exactly the same place. We're from similar backgrounds, actually. I'm from a working class background as well. It isn't about class and it isn't about intelligence. It literally, well, it is about intelligence, but it's literally about her being promoted because of who and what she is. And this is the problem. This is why we always fall into this same hole. We've had it for years and years. This is why we need a revolution in what we do.
Right, we've got the picture up now. I was going to do the expression myself. It's kind of like this. Like that. So let's have a look at her again. If you're watching on there, look at her. She is so chipper, isn't she? So you've got Rachel sobbing on the right. You've got appropriately beaming Angela on the left, very much on the left, and you've got the Prime Minister, no idea that he's at the centre of two women at war there. But she is loving every second of it, old Rayner.
I mean, she's Machiavellian, isn't she? That's the word that comes to mind. But it also looks like some really bad 1970s domestic soap opera there, you know, with the two women in his life arguing, and it just feels as though it's a farce. It's actually really quite embarrassing, isn't it? You know,
it isn't. But look, folks, you've got. I mean, incredible though it seems, you have to take this seriously about Rayner. She's got a whole team working on this. She really does fancy her chances, and she's letting it be known, or her team Ange, are letting it be known that they believe believe that within a year, Starmer will be gone. And he certainly, as I said in my monologue, he seems like a dead leader walking to me. And Rachel Reeves, it reminds me of, you know, the football managers where the football managers where the directors offer the manager their full support. You know that the next day they'll get sacked. So that is the story. That you know, Starmer may not last long. Rachel Reeves certainly won't. She's got to go. She'll have to go. But in the meantime, who's going to step into this void? It's going to be Angela Rayner. So let me know what you think. I mean, this isn't a joke. It seems like it, but we could seriously end up with Angela Rayner as Prime Minister.